This video was sponsored by Raycon.
Hey guys, it's your girl! And if you have ever watched any of my previous videos, and to the surprise of absolutely no one, I like to drink. And I especially love to drink wine. As I've stated in my previous anime wine drinking episode video, I actually initially wanted to become a sommelier, but after realizing that my taste buds are kind of shit, I realized there's probably no hope in that. But that doesn't mean I can't indulge a little still. And you may ask, what on earth could have ever inspired such a random sort of job prospect to be brought into my head and want to be done by myself? And the entirety of my love of wine, as well as just alcohol in general, actually came from a manga. And that manga is one of my all-time favorite mangas ever, Drops of God, which is essentially just a very good manga about a guy who is competing with his stepbrother, trying to obtain wines, and they're kind of discovering all these wines and just describing them and kind of describing how it makes you feel. And if you are honestly truly more curious about it, I have an old video I did on Drops of God that I poured my heart into. So after reading Drops of God for the first time, my entire world went upside down. I went from somebody who just kind of like drank alcohol with friends just because, you know, I never really enjoyed the taste of any of it until I kind of started paying attention to the taste of, like, say, wine and how, like, the complications of it and what's kind of makes it complexity and how it, you know, can compete to something like art. So after discovering that wine could be such an amazing thing, it was my dream to try the wines that were described in Drops of God. The wines and Drops of God are described so perfectly. It makes you feel like you are in another world when you just see them drink this wine. And I swear to God, my life just complete. So after putting aside money for a few years, I decided to buy my own small collection of the Drops of God wine. And that is why today here, I am going to share with you guys my first experiences with this wine. I'm going to try it with you all, and I'm going to tell you what scenes it was supposed to describe, and I'm going to tell you what I think. Is it overrated? Is it not? Is it worth the price? Is it not? Now I have, of course, Drops of God was a manga started from volume 1 and now is about 29 volumes, 28. So there is a lot of fucking wine mentioned in this manga series. I personally only have about 7 bottles that I'm going to be trying in this video today, and Lord knows if you know anything about wine, after you open it, after one day, it completely changes. And I don't know what you guys may think of me right now, but I can tell you right now, there's no fucking way in hell I could ever finish 7 different bottles of wine in one day. And it's like, there's just no way. So I'm going to be spacing this video out in a time span of different days, trying out maybe 2 to 3 bottles of wine in each of them. And, you know, blah. So I'm probably going to be wearing different clothes in each kind of segment. And I also want to mention that Drops of God is a series that I believe began in 2003. So a good number of the wines that were said in the manga series that were very cheap then aren't as cheap now. I tried my best to kind of keep in the same price range as what was said in the manga, because this manga very much had a very helping hand in helping Japan find cheaper sort of wines that are extremely delicious still, just as good as expensive wines. And that's essentially why I am also able to obtain some of these wines, because there's no fucking way I can find it in myself to spend more than $100 on a piece of a bottle of wine. I'm sorry. At least not in this point in my life. There's money. So I'm going to also include the prices of the wine in this video if you guys are ever interested. I'm also in Japan, where all of these wines have been imported or are just really hard to find in general. So some of these wines are probably costlier here than they are probably where you guys live. So if you ever want to check out the price that I have listed, and maybe it's less or more, or, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm just giving you the fucking facts here, guys. This is a video series I have always wanted to do, so now I am able to share it with you. I can't wait any fucking more. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's your girl. And you probably noticed that suddenly I am wearing different clothes and my audio is different. That's because as I was reviewing the final edits of the video, I made a realization that I had accidentally created a giant fuck up. Yeah. Now, initially I recorded the first whine with the idea and the backstory of what was put behind it, but instead it's a different whine, if that makes sense. So the whine I started with was actually the first whine that I thought was the first whine that our lead character Shizuku drank, that gave him the ability to see a rock band, and that band being Queen. And I accidentally chose a different whine because I think I misremembered the names. Obviously, I don't speak French. I don't remember them off at the time, and when I wrote it down, I don't even know where I made this mix-up, but I did either way. So I'm just going to scrap the initial one and just do it now. Luckily, I was able to get his first wine on Amazon and get it shipped the next day, so that's pretty lucky. Time for some day drinking! Now in chapter 3, when Shizuku goes to his father's will hearing and finds out that all of his inheritance, everything rides on him figuring out the 12 apostles, which is like the wine that his father chose, that he has to figure out which wine it is just from, like, you know, smelling it and drinking a bunch of wine and stuff like that, and otherwise he won't get his inheritance. And this is supposed to be like the best wine in the fucking world, okay? So living his life never even having tried wine, it's the beginning of a fucking journey. So he goes to a restaurant and tries the wine bar, and he is offered this wine as his first wine ever to try. And this wine actually supposedly beats one of the more expensive wines that's about like $100 more. And I got this wine for well, because of quarantine, wine right now is a bit expensive just because it's imported, and you know, everything, a lot less countries are importing and like shipping stuff now. So, but anyway, the name of this wine is Montpierrat Chateau. Now, of course, this isn't the 2002 Montpierrat. I'm not loaded in money, but you know, I looked it up. This is supposed to be a good year. It's 2016. And I am pretty hyped. So this is the wine that Shizuku drank and he saw Queen, because it is supposed to, now let me check my notes, the notes that have caused me a bunch of fuck ups in this video, spoiler alert, it is supposed to be a powerful wine with a melting sweetness as well as a extremely like tart sourness that kind of rushes in during the middle. And I mean, that actually isn't a that's a really good kind of way to explain what rock is. And you know, I kind of in a way describe Kiss like that. Hell yeah, I just opened that like a fucking pro. Now, why did I say Kiss? I mean Queen. It's got 2016 on the label. Probably can't see it. It's there. Okay. Radio snoo. Come on. Don't break in the wine! Don't break off, please. I'm begging you. Little baby bit. I don't want to get wasted in the middle of the day. Save that for later. Yeah, definitely. Whew, that is a very Bordeaux smelling. That's a very Bordeaux smelling wine. I can definitely smell like a sort of like sour. Like when I smell it, it's not. It's more. It's a strong, powerful smelling, definitely wine. I can definitely smell some sour notes, maybe some apple. I have no idea. Either way, let's drink it. Whew. Holy shit! Yeah, they were not kidding when they said powerful, Jesus. Woo! I think that is like, that is the most fucking powerful full body wine I think I've ever had. Oh my god. That was like a burst of just like, how do you even, I don't even know how to properly explain it. Holy shit. I could definitely, I think definitely when you're at a rock concert and you kind of feel the rush of the crowd, you feel like the sweetness in the singer's voice as well as sort of like the kind of bitter, it's not a bitter wine, but sort of the sour sort of like melody kind of tinged into whatever he's singing, such as like can be seen with Queen. Fuck! Just like the excitement of the crowd, like I can definitely feel like that in my mouth. I have never felt something quite as like emotion provoking in a wine, I think, ever, just in the taste alone. Woo! I am really glad in a way that I realized this fuck up. Obviously not just because I couldn't talk about the proper wine, but this is definitely, I think, out of all the wines that I will be trying or have tried, this was probably the most definitely fitting of what was shown to you. Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. Like, definitely worth the price if you enjoy wine and want to experience it and actually experience like something kind of like art. Like, this was a great first wine to start off in the manga for our lead to have. Like, that, oh my god. Oh my god. I literally have no fucking words. Like, this, super good. Definitely. It has like, it's not, it goes down easy, but it still has like a kind of like, I don't know how to probably explain. When you like have it sit on your tongue for like a second, it kind of gives like a feeling of sparklers in your mouth, kind of. It kind of gives us like, fuck! It definitely gives like a kind of sour twist that kind of like pops in your mouth, and it's like, I keep saying what, but I keep yammering on, but I'm actually like, I'm pretty blown away. Shit. This is an amazing wine. I'm surprised like this isn't like world famous. I need to go on to the next segment because I honestly don't know what more to say. This is, if you want to try the Montperrat Chateau Bordeaux, please, I really guarantee it is 100% worth it.
On to the next wine. The next wine I have today is the Puy-Girard Chateau Puy-Girard. You know the text, it's right there, it's there. Now before I drink this wine, of course, even before I give you the back story of this wine and what it was like in Drops of God, I have not eaten a lot today. I have been in preparation, I've been preparing for a dinner tonight that's going to be Korean, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm about to get probably a little messy on camera. Let's go. So this wine, I believe, was in volume 7 and was used to convince a wealthier client for Shizuku as well as his company that not all expensive wine is the best tasting wine, because sometimes the most expensive wine loses to the cheaper wine. And so they use this wine at one of their like a little party, and it was to make the client remember his first love. And it is supposed to have a very bittersweet, but sort of like sweet, it start off sweet and then go into like a bitter sort of num 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 taste, you know? So it's supposed to be like a good mix. I believe there's supposed to be like some chocolate notes, if I am remembering correctly, which might not be correct. It's supposed to definitely make you envision your first love, and you know what? Let's see if it does. This wine was actually normal priced. It was about $30, $35. So it wasn't too bad at all. But let's see if the taste is worth it. It has the year on the cork, which feels pretty pricey in my book. I don't know, maybe that's a pricey thing. I have no idea. All right, let's open this. Fucking shove that in, you slut. Yeah. Such a beautiful sound. Oof, I just opened that and I could smell it from here. Ooh, Freggy boy. Let me open this fucker. Let me smell the cork. Give me the cork. Give me your fucking cork. I want to smell you. Oof. Oh, damn. Definitely from the smell of it alone, I think it's gonna taste pretty amazing. It definitely feels like a very like powerful wine, I'm guessing it's going to taste like. Scent alone is pretty impactful, so that says something in wines, guys, just so you know. Alright, just a smidgen. Ooh, the color is wine. Alright, let's try this sassy slut. Oof. Oh yeah. Oh yes, sir. This is passion. I can't say I understand the bitter sweetness of this. It's definitely, I feel, if anything, a slightly more like bitey, bittery wine. But not in, of course, a bad way. Otherwise, I'd be like, this shit gross. And obviously, something gross wouldn't be in drops of water. God, this definitely tastes way more expensive than the price leads on. I would definitely go to an expensive place and drink this and think, whoa, this is class A good shit. And it still is, but obviously the price would make it seem, yeah, definitely I think this would taste best with like a salami or some sort of like cashews is my guess. It's definitely, it gives me good vibes. And if I ever want to just sit by and impress somebody who likes wine and they'd be like, whoa, this wine's good. And I'll be like, yeah, well, you'll never guess the price, it's only like $30. I'm just talking now, but you know what? This is good shit. And this is, I'm definitely getting this again. This is definitely going to be going in my fridge, in my wine fridge. And I can definitely see what all the hubbub is about, that even though like, the stupid snobbiest character in Drops of God is even just like, bro, good shit. I probably am making you guys think that wasn't good shit because I just downed it all, but it's because it's good shit. I downed it all. I love this wine. Let's go to the next one. Before I actually go to the next one, the reason why I actually chose this wine is because from the description alone of it, when I saw it in the manga, I do think it is going to taste really good with the Korean food I'm going to be having tonight. Like the fried chicken as well. It's just going to go really good. I'm hyped for it. I just think the redness of the wine is going to be red. Sometimes I just say things. Next one!
Alright, so I'm an idiot, and while reviewing this, realized that I messed up the Purigard blah 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 with the next wine I'll be talking about. The Pui isn't the wine that was used to convince a wealthier client that all good wine, doesn't have to be expensive, but was instead a wine used during a touching story of the wine bartender who's usually featured in the manga's first love and how sweet yet bittersweet it was. I mixed up this wine with the next wine that also revolves around first love and the bittersweet loss of it, and I think while recording and staring at my notes and seeing two wines with bittersweet love loss just ultimately confused me, so just remember that when I talk about the next wine.
Now the next wine I'm going to be talking about next is actually one from Volume 7. And what you might just thinking, like, what the fuck, you just went from Volume 1 to Volume 7, what's the fucking jump here? And the reason for that is I actually do have another wine from Volume 2 that I do want to try. However, the thing that's meant to go with it hasn't quite arrived yet, so hold your fucking horses, you stupid piece of shit. Now this is a wine that also gets across the message that I love most about Drops of God, and that is the fact that just because a wine can be cheap does not mean it cannot surpass, say, its more expensive predecessors. And I definitely have learned that so far with the first wine from Drops of God, and I've also learned that with this new one coming up. Now the story behind this wine is one from when Shizuku is actually meeting a guy who says, hey, wine, it is all about price and like looking good in stature, and there's no cheap wine that can ever surpass an expensive wine. And then Shizuku's like, bruh, you stupid bitch, let's fucking go! And he shows this guy up with this one. Now this wine is actually supposed to kind of make you sort of remember sort of a past love, I guess, in a way. A sort of sweet, sort of perfect, but bittersweet past love that reminds you of how good things were when you were innocent and naive, when you were a child experiencing your first love. How many times did I say first love? I don't think it actually went into too much detail of what the taste is kind of supposed to be or the body of it. I just think it's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be sweet yet bittersweet, whatever the fuck that means. And I really can't tell you, I mean, I guess the only way is to drink this bitch. Now this wine admittedly was not as cheap as the first one. This was actually about 5,800. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to remember exactly. What it was in the manga, but I do believe it was about that much as well. But even though this is kind of pricier, I think for most people, it is supposed to taste just as good as, say, you'd pay for about like $1,000 for a wine. So the only way to find out, taste this bitch. It's definitely not as I can't smell this wine from here, so. Ooh, whew, that definitely has like a super heavy smell of like berries, cranberries, or maybe some like, definitely like a darker grape. This definitely smells like every other wine that I have gotten at business meetings where people are trying to impress me. I'm hype. Oh my god, it's so fucking dark. It's like, it looks like blood. Definitely. Let me just give that a little swirl. Ooh, this is gonna be fucking amazing. Holy shit. Oof. Let's see if it makes me remember my first love. Thinking about you, Jake. I swear to God, I really hope that guy from kindergarten does not watch these videos. Oh, fuck me. Fuck. This definitely, holy shit. What do I even describe? Okay, I need to have another drink because that just kind of blew me away in the first sip. As it should. Once again, 60 bucks for me almost. It actually is a little slightly spicy for a French wine. I would say French wine usually does not have such a it definitely doesn't have like sort of bite, but I can definitely see where the kind of mix of sweet bittersweet comes in because of that bite. It definitely is, it is a bit of a slightly sweeter red that has way more like a finishing note of just sort of bitterness, I suppose, that it makes sense. Kind of the first heartbreak of your first love. And I would say if there's a taste in this world to describe it, this isn't too far off. Still thinking about that time you called me a loser, Jake? I honestly don't know what kind of pairing this would go with. Obviously it's a red, you'd think it would go well with meat, and especially because it's slightly spicy, it might. But I think honestly an array of cheeses, sort of like lighter cheeses, but also kind of milky or maybe cheddar cheeses would go really well with this. I sound like a potential, probably pompous asshole, but I'm trying to give you guys, if you guys are gonna have this shit, I want you to have the best experience with it. The year is 2016 for me because all the other years were about a couple hundred each, and this was the cheapest I could find of it. This has definitely tastes fucking amazing. I have not been, I've not felt any of these, the two before have been overhyped yet. I'm hoping I still remain for the other ones to come this optimistic. So the next wine I've picked out is actually one of the wines from the most recently translated volumes, and that is volume 11. And that wine is Jodio. Initially, I was debating getting Jodio because it's only very briefly mentioned in the manga, but this is probably one of the most readily available wines from the manga, so it'd be kind of a shame not to get. I also got this wine, and one of the most other appealing things for this wine about this wine for me was that it was only 15 bucks, which is kind of a steal for good wine, as you can probably gather from this video and me not shutting up about that. It was so briefly mentioned, I don't really remember the context of why they mentioned it. I believe they were just having a work lunch, and then they just brought out this wine, but It's supposed to have a very intense flavor of plums and licorice, and it is an Italian wine. And the other and biggest reason why I decided to bring out this bad boy, even though it's later in the manga today, is because it's supposed to pair exceptionally well with Korean food. I think this is actually also a white wine, or definitely the outside looks very white, like a, yeah, but I don't know, but let's open this sassy sloot. Oh my god, that cork is so pretty. Holy shit, I know you probably can't see it, but it's like a star. This is also an Italian wine, which I am quite partial to. I very much do enjoy Italian wines, although they aren't as diverse as, you know, like, oh my god. They aren't as diverse as French wine, but, you know. Oh shit. Oh shit, oh the cork went in. Please get this cork out. Oh thank god. I was about to like fucking go apeshit. It's like stuck up. Fuck. Oh, it's a red wine! It does definitely, the outside does not, maybe it's the yellow, it just gives it, it's a yellow bottle as well, which is very confusing. Let's smell this slut. Ooh, that's it's definitely not very impactful in scent. This definitely smells like the kind of wine I would be very obsessed with eating with Italian food, as well as just kind of like a spicy food, because it kind of gives a very like citrus, definitely very like fruity smell, but also like a kind of a small bite that would pair well with something definitely spicy like Korean food. So I can definitely see why the pairing would be suggested, and I would agree with it. That's a big glass, because I'm here to murder innocent civilians. Let's go! Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. It's definitely, this plum smell is very like radiating out of this cup right now. It is like inside of me already. It is like war in this shit. Poo! Oof. The plum taste alone as well is like, this is a super, I feel like my reaction gave me the impression, maybe gave you the impression I didn't love this wine just from the taste, but that's not it at all. I was just very surprised by the heavy plum taste. Like, it definitely overpowers anything else really in it. And that's not a bad thing by any means. It is, because plums in general are just like kind of a fruit that doesn't have too much of an impactful flavor. So having it kind of like, just like kind of sucker gut you in the sucker punching you in the boob. It's very surprising and very pleasant. It is the good shit. This is definitely the kind of wine you'd be having with food though. This is not just like getting drunk wine. This is for sure the shit you definitely have with like meaty or something, definitely with a lot of flavor. And this would pair very well. So I think just because it's such a like flavor packed wine, it would do well with anything else that is pretty flavorful, and especially spicy food that would just like kind of just like be umami da. Oh yeah, this is the good shit. I'm gonna be turning up with this Korean food, probably off my ass, but that's just the power of love. Oh yeah. After a hard day's work, fuck me, man. This is the shit. This deserved, I think, a little more than just like a few, like 1 or 2 panels mentioning it. This is, hand to God, gonna get another bottle of this. I know I'm gonna say this probably a lot throughout this video, and you're gonna be like, well, of course you're gonna want to get a bottle of everything else you get. However, I'm trying to start off with the cheaper wines right now. Of course, I'm going to get to the more expensive wines that even if I do really like, I'm probably not going to buy again, or unless I turn into a multimillionaire, I think, or unless I save it because I like save money because I like it so much and then I get it later. But definitely for ones that aren't as pricey as, you know, the ones I talk about. God, I'm getting tipsy. I have such a low tolerance. Fun fact, guys, I have a very low tolerance. Doesn't make me love it any less. Oh, that like small, like, just that small, so good. Fucking delicioso. I'm not gonna finish this on camera because I'm just gonna be like sitting there like orgasming on the couch. So we're just gonna move on to the next wine. All right, guys, now we're going to be going on to volume 9. And we're going to be opening up one of the most precious wines in the series due to Shizuku sharing it with somebody that saved it for him when he, spoiler alert, passes. I'm not gonna give names because that's even more spoilers. But the name of this wine is called, and I'm gonna butcher this, Pupile. Popile. Now, when you drink this wine, you are supposed to be able to see the embodiment of jazz in New Orleans. I mean, I'm hyped for that. I want to feel like I'm in New Orleans, especially with being quarantined and anywhere else than my fucking house. But you know what? Let's see it and taste it. Now for this one, I'm gonna open this, but you're supposed to decant it. It's supposed to taste better decanted, and I'm trusting that. I don't think I've decanted one wine yet. I might be it's been a process. Get in, you slut. You just fucking go, whore. All right, let's decant this whore. Okay, a decanter. So I don't know. A decanter is what you kind of use for wine when you feel like it's a bit too tart or too sour because it's not quite matured yet, or it might taste better, more. How do I describe it? Like aerated. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, read the first volume of Drops of God. This is the whole point of making this video. Read Drops of God. All right, and it tastes better if you do it from such a height. Okay, no. Just go in, man. I don't want to risk exploring. Oh my god! Now, when I first smell it, it is not as fragrant as what you'd be led to believe when you first read the manga when Shizuku takes his first sniff of it. So I'm not already too impressed, but I'm gonna like. Oh my god, the black currant in that is like fucking in your nose already. Like, might as well have like been birthed in your fucking nose. In American logic, and maybe probably even in Japanese logic, when you have the taste of a black currant, it is something fresh, something new, something kind of like spicy, something like a whole environment like the New Orleans where it's like a party, new, changing things. It's more. It's a party in my goddamn taste buds. That's for true. Honestly, this wine costs about $45 here. It's probably cheaper abroad. But I probably wouldn't get this one again just because I think I'm not giantly a fan of black currant in general, which is a berry in the UK from what I know. That's the only place I know it from. But if it was like a little bit cheaper, I definitely would be buying this again. Definitely. This is, I mean, am I seeing New Orleans? Am I seeing jazz music? Probably not quite as much as I saw Kiss, but I can see where the idea probably formed from. And now we are finally on to our last wine. My facade of making this video just so I can claim this wine on my taxes is coming to an end! And I chose this final wine for a certain purpose. This wine that I chose is actually called Gigondos, which is like Giga, it sounds like, no, it's just the G-I-G, I suppose. Now, I chose to do this wine last because not only is this wine one of the later wines that I have talked about in this whole video, this one appears in volume 11, chapter 99, but it is also probably one of the hardest ones to get. I searched pretty hard to find one, and the ones that I did find, you know, I didn't want to spend like $500 on a bottle of wine, okay? I'm not that wealthy yet. Now, this wine was talked about when Shizuku was given a tasting from Mishima, And this was supposed to be one of the nicer wines, and when he tasted it, he visualized himself on a bunch of permissions. It's a word, sounds like permissions. Now that is a fruit that I personally never, I believe, ate, but supposedly this wine is just full of that. It's supposed to be a spicy wine, but also kind of gentle or more fruity with the tannins. It's supposed to be just like a fruit aboding wine. It's supposed to be like fruitsy fucking paradise. So I am excited to try this because this was hard as shit to get. It was 60 bucks altogether. Just from this price alone, and probably from how hard it was to find it, probably won't be getting this one again, so let's enjoy it while we can. Yep. Love that sound. Alright, let's smell the cork like a piece of shit. Smells kind of sour. I am scared now. I'm scared that this is gonna taste like shit. It does not smell great. It smells like shit. I hope I don't have to decant this. I don't think I do. I don't think it did in the manga because I didn't write it down in the notes, so let's taste it, and I swear to God, the last one's like the only one that tastes like shit. I'm gonna be pissed considering how much this was and how hard it was to fucking find. Okay, now this one smells what I think, like, what a permission would smell like. Permission. It definitely smells like fruit. It smells like, it's very strong. I'm pretty sure this is probably what a permission, yeah. I don't even get to try the fruit first, I just get to try the wine that it's made out of first. Oh. I think they must have done something wrong with it because the aftertaste isn't the greatest, kind of has that like slight wet dog aftertaste. But actually when the first few minutes, like, or the first few seconds, it's just, oh my god, I feel like the poshest piece of shit you can ever even think of. Like, here I am drinking permission wine. What are you doing? Watching me. That's what you're doing. Please don't click off. I want this video to do. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is one of my least favorites, or probably the least favorite of all the ones I've tried through this one, which is lucky, because this is, yeah, once again, I'm gonna keep radiating. I had to look everywhere for this fucking bitch. And it is not the greatest, it's not bad, but I wonder, maybe I got it in a bad year. I got this is a 2015, the one in the manga was like 2002, and that one was about like closer to 1,000 to pay for, so I'm guessing that year in particular was the best for this type of wine. But I'm not fucking doing that, guys. I don't have that kind of money yet. But nonetheless, it is still good. I have definitely, I mean, I've had piss poor wines. I've had wines that may as well have been piss. So, and of course, what am I comparing it to? I'm not saying that this tastes only slightly better than piss. Of course it tastes good, but I am surprised in a way that it was mentioned in Kamino Shizuku because I just don't think it tastes worthy at all compared to any of the other ones I've tried. Like, I definitely taste the spiciness in it, and the tannin it's there, it's gentle, but it's not a good combo. I mean, I'm still gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy this last bottle of wine while it exists and thrive in knowing that I had it and I'm okay with that. What is this sentence? So if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this one is worth the price at all, but it's not bad either. Communist Google Mangas. Alright, thank you guys for joining me on this journey. This is actually, once again, a video I know I want to do for a long time, and I know most people are like, well, why aren't you trying the apostles? Well, because this is something I know it sounds, I want to do again. I want to try the apostles, and hopefully if this video does do okay, I might try them, but they're a little harder to get and admittedly more pricey. So I just wanted to try some of the wines that were even worth mentioning in the manga first, because they're all just so damn good. They all deserve their own apostle nominations, okay? They are not just here, they're not just background characters. These background characters need to come forward and be first characters, and that's why I'm doing my first video on them. And it wouldn't be possible at all to do this video and talk about these amazing fucking wines if it wasn't for Raycon. Now, I'm just gonna talk about Raycon for a second here because this video is sponsored by Raycon. And I was actually about to buy Raycon earbuds when they came and said that they wanted to work with me, and I'm like, hell yeah, bitch, let's go. Because Raycon earbuds, first of all, when I got, like, this is their charging thing. It's literally just a little pod. You don't have to plug it in, you don't have to do anything, you just like put your earbuds in when they want to charge. They're there, so put it in your purse, put it in your thing. When you put your earbuds in, it's just like, oh my god. Definitely never had earbuds that were this good. I swear to god, if someone was getting murdered, like right by me, I could not hear a goddamn thing. If you're in public and you're listening to that good hentai shit, if you are just seeking privacy, then really, and you don't want to put on those clumpy little headphones that cramp down on your ears and make your ears feel like attached to your skull and like painful and hurtful. You want to have earbuds like Raycon. You just put in and you listen to that good shit and no one can hear otherwise. And that's all that you just throbbing in your eardrums is these amazing ass sounds with this amazing ass technology. I just, oh my god, I just cannot simp on them anymore.
The earbuds I am currently using is the Everyday E25, and it is completely sound isolating, which makes listening to my weeb music that much more enjoyable. You can get this product at buyraycon.com/Sydsnap.
Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. I know this is a sponsor, but I was legitimately, I love, this is probably one of my favorite things ever. I can't live without listening. I don't want another earbud brand ever again. I'm probably always going to keep with these. And I recommend you do too because you're never gonna get any better, let's be honest. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and just tell me, I guess, what you think of it. I know, just kind of me being an alcoholic on camera, la-di-da. I love making the content I do, but because it is this channel, it is often demonetized. So, if you are thinking about supporting this channel, then please check the links in the description or type this link in here because it's my Patreon. I should have started with that. I didn't start with that. I meant to type in this link here, Patreon. It's where it is what it does. It's just, if you're thinking about supporting me, check that shit out too. Thank you guys again, and I'm going to go indulge myself with this final bottle of wine with my honey man. Later, bitches.